Hey guys, Whitney here. Welcome to the Passive Investing Made Simple Masterclass. I'm your host, Whitney Elkins-Hutten, Director of Investor Education here at PassiveInvesting.com. And I'm so excited that you joined me today. We do this webinar live every Tuesday to help you learn the ins and outs of passive investing, and so you can go into your next deal with confidence. So if you haven't done so already, make sure to check us out at PassiveInvestingWithWhitney.com. There you can register for our masterclasses, our skills building boot camps that we do every month. You can also see my calendar and snag some time with me if you'd like to talk about all things passive real estate and how that structure of investment can work in your portfolio. And you can also see our open deals here at PassiveInvesting.com. So make sure to check out PassiveInvestingWithWhitney.com. Now, today we have a solo episode where we're going to be talking from an educational standpoint about the differences between certified public accountants versus an enrolled agent. And we're also going to be talking through, like, how do you know which one you might need to help you with your tax situation? Now, if you don't know me, again, welcome. My name is Whitney Elkins-Hutten. I have been investing in real estate since 2002. I originally got into real estate completely by accident after purchasing a property with a significant other. And I had the property, stuffed it full of roommates, completed the rehab, and I was totally enamored by real estate after that point in time, because when I sold that property, I realized how much how much value in the world that I could create that was unhooked from how much time I spent creating that value. Knowing now that I had a methodology to stop eventually trading time for money, I pursued real estate, more of a hobby for several years, and then eventually got really serious about it, and scaling up a 36 unit single family rental portfolio that eventually transitioned into multifamily investing, larger institutional multifamily investments in general partnership, as well as limited partnership. And that kind of brings me to what my husband and I have been able to acquire today, which is over 6,500 residential units, 2,200 self-storage, and 15 express car washes. But it's not those numbers that I know you're after, it's this number that you're after, 100% control and choice on how you spend your time. And that is something that we strive to teach you on these webinars by learning the ins and outs of passive investment, but it's also something we can help you do here at PassiveInvesting.com. Whether it's through our debt investments, our real estate debt fund, where we've lent over $290 million, or whether it's through our equity investments, where we have like 1.4 billion assets under management, 28.9% ARR on our first full cycle deals, and have strong returns for our investors. Now, I'm going to take a moment to clear my throat. I've got a bit of a cold here, guys, but that's not going to stop us here today. I just want to make sure that you understand right now that what we're going to go over today, we shouldn't tackle any financial, legal, or tax advice. But as always, anytime that we have these conversations here on the Passive Investing Made Simple Masterclass, can make sure to take this information back to your investment team before making any investment decision. Now, let's dive in. Certified public accountant, enrolled agent. What do you need as a limited partner to help support you as part of your team? I mean, we talk quite a bit about building your investment team. You should have legal counsel. You should have tax advisement. You should have maybe even a financial advisor or a financial mentor. You should have team members in place that can help guide you through and support you through your investing. Okay, now I know a lot of real estate investors try to hoodwink it and do all their legal themselves and all their tax themselves. That might work if you've got one single family rental property, but you're going to realize as soon as you start scaling that you are going to make more money if you bring these team members on. So why not bring them on earlier? And this even applies if you are a passive real estate investor. Okay, maybe you chose to skip the single family rentals, the small multifamily rentals. Maybe you're doing mostly private equity type investing. Even then, have legal counsel to help you structure your investments and tax advisement to help you optimize for this one. Taxes is one of the 6 ways that I talk about so often that it erodes your wealth, or like, not, don't pay taxes, range your affairs as such so you don't have to only pay your fair share. So anyways, so now that I kind of got on my little soapbox as far as like who should be on your team and why it's so important to start piecing this team together early, and that team can actually, while it costs a little bit up front, can actually help you save more money throughout your investment journey. Let's start talking about some of your options here, especially when it comes to who that tax team member should be. Well, for starters, we've got some options here when it comes to tax advice. You can engage a certified public accountant, okay, often called a CPA. You can use what we call an enrolled agent or an EA. You could pay for a tax attorney, okay? Maybe even you could get some tax advice from your financial advisor. All right. And there's some other areas where you could get tax advice, maybe a real estate investment advisor, or utilizing tax software and resources, which is kind of the DIY that I really encourage people to steer away from as quickly as possible. But those are really kind of your 5 options for tax advice. Now, there's really only 2, maybe 3 here, that, especially for limited partners paying attention to this episode, that you really should be considering. And let's kind of pick these apart. I want to make sure we define them first before we start moving into the differences between the different relationships. And then how do you make a decision? Well, for starters, an enrolled agent. This person is a tax advisor who is federally authorized to represent taxpayers, you, before the IRS. In order for somebody to become an enrolled agent, they have to pass a comprehensive 3-part exam covering individual tax, business tax, and representation. Okay, so an enrolled agent is very versed in individual tax, business tax, and representation with the IRS. They can also have relevant experience working for the IRS as well, but they're still going to have to pass this exam. Now, an enrolled agent is equipped to handle tax matters such as audits, appeals, and collections on behalf of their clients. Okay, they're not, the cool thing is they're not limited to specific states, unlike CPAs and tax attorneys who have state-specific licenses. Okay. Well, let's take a look at what a CPA is. CPAs are highly skilled, but can be skilled in taxation, but they can be skilled in other areas too, like accounting, financial accounting, auditing, again, maybe taxation, or maybe like accounting and consulting. They can provide a wide range of services, such as preparing financial statements, conducting audits, tax planning advice, providing guidance on business and financial matters like tax accounting, auditing, management, and maybe even forensic accounting. Okay, CPAs have the authority to represent clients before the IRS and other tax authorities. However, their license is state-based, right? Now, there's some, as you can see, as we just kind of defined these and gave a little bit of color to their various roles and what, an enrolled agent can do and a CPA can actually do, you can see that kind of bubbling up to the surface, there's some key differences, right? Even though we've got 2 people that can be very versed in tax, they're different. And how they differ is based on their qualifications, the focus and expertise, their authorization to practice, and their continuing education. So let's really dive in through points 1 through 3 here, because both groups have to do continuing education without a doubt. So let's take a look at qualifications, focus, experience, and authorization to practice. Now, our enrolled agent, guys, I like talking through visuals here. So, any visual I put in a presentation is meant to help you remember the concept on the slide. And if you don't pick up anything from this side, it is enrolled agents, all they do is tax. They don't do accounting or anything like that. They do tax. That's it, tax. everything related to tax, but they do taxes. They're not preparing financial statements. They're not doing forensic accounting. They do tax. Okay, so from a qualification standpoint, remember this person has to pass that 3-part test administered by the IRS. Okay, their focus is going to be tax law, tax regulation, tax procedures, and tax representation. Okay, and all sorts of representation, audits, appeals, and collections. All right, and their authorization to practice is across all states. Okay, both on the audit, appeal, and collection level. All right, now a certified public accountant, again, they're more geared towards business. All right, so now they can support the individual investor. It's not to say that an individual real estate or passive investor can't use a CPA, but they're generally more geared towards business. Now, a CPA's qualifications is going to stem from having a bachelor's degree in accounting or a relating field. They're going to have met certain education requirements that allows them to sit for their CPA exam. And then they're going to have fulfilled a certain amount of professional work experience pre and post exam. Now remember, that licensure occurs at the state level, not at the national level. Okay, their focus is broader. Okay, they have a broader focus and expertise. And again, as we covered, they can include accounting, tax audit, or auditing, tax preparation, financial reporting, business consulting, right? So, think about it. This person's going to be very much, if you have a wider scope of need, consider working with a qualified certified public accountant. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Not all CPAs do tax. Right? So just because you found a CPA or somebody recommends to you a CPA does not mean they actually do tax. All right. Now, their authorization to practice, again, this is the difference here, is they're licensed by the state board and authorized to practice within that state where they're licensed. Now, their audit and adaptation services, they can represent their client in those capacities, but depending on the state, they actually might require a tax attorney to be present if they're representing a client through an audit or through an attestation. Okay, this is why we see tax attorneys often coupled. Somebody who is a tax attorney might also be a CPA. That's why we see this. Now, they can also give their authorization to practice is they can also certify financial statements. So if that's something that you need, that's a consideration as well. And they can also be an eyewitness for a testimony if there's a legal case. So either way, I encourage everybody to have some sort of tax advisement on their team. So how do you find that person that should be on your team? Well, for starters, I would ask for referrals from people who are doing what you want to do. Okay. So if you're doing passive real estate, private equity real estate, investing in multifamily, self-storage, express car washes, real estate debt, I wouldn't talk to an investor who's doing development and say, hey, who's your tax advisor, right? Because we want to find the person that's going to recommend the team member that is doing what you're doing. Okay. Hopefully that matches up. You can also look at professional organizations, and I'll give you a couple here, like the National Association of Enrolled Agents or the IRS Directory of Tax and Return Preparers. Those online directories, as well as professional organizations, can give you a list of people that are tax focused. Okay. Okay. You can also do professional networking. If you're going to a RIA or if you're going to conferences, that is another way to, get in contact with people and do some professional networking. Low hanging fruits, you can always do an online search as well. But remember, you're going to be, kind of casting a wider net. So you're going to have to make sure that you're doing these consultations. And an enrolled agent or a CPA generally has one free initial consultation. And it's not to give tax advice, but to understand whether you guys are a good fit to work together. That's what that consultation's for. So regardless, whatever methodology you use to try to find that right person, make sure you do that initial consultation before signing an engagement letter with them. All right. So we talked about what is an enrolled agent, what is a CPA, what are the similarities and differences between the two. We talked about how to find, this person that might go on your team. My favorite being get a referral from somebody who's doing what you are doing. Now, how do you decide? Who do I want to have on my team? Do I want an enrolled agent? Do I want a CPA? Do I need somebody entirely different? Well, let's kind of walk through like a little bit of a matrix here. One is, what is the complexity of your tax situation? Okay, do you just need somebody to help you with taxes, represent you, in auditing and pills and stuff like that? Is it just solely contained in taxation? An enrolled agent might be a good choice. Do you need more comprehensive accounting support? Do you have businesses? Maybe you are a doctor or a lawyer or, an engineer and you have your own practice and you need accounting help there. Maybe you have a more complex tax situation for whatever reason. Then maybe a CPA might be more appropriate. Okay, step two, specialized expertise. Again, what is the complexity of your situation? What is the specialty do you need? Is your specialty that you need just around taxes? You need somebody to help you strategize and then also make those preparations for your tax return. Make sure everything is buttoned up really tight. Or do you need somebody that can help more with financial planning, investment analysis, and business structuring? Okay, that will help you tilt towards either an enrolled agent or a CPA. Okay, and then we've got representation. Now, here's the thing, either one of these roles can represent you. An enrolled agent might actually have a slight edge when it comes to taxation and being able to represent you. But either role should be able to represent you, whether it's an EA who can do it on their own, or whether it's a CPA, depending on the state, they might have do it on their own, or they might have to bring in an outside attorney. All right. But number four, also take into account your personal preference and your relationship. How do you want to interact with that person? And this so much doesn't necessarily determine EA or CPA, but moreover, who's available in your area, right? If you're okay doing things online virtually, like I am, the world's my oyster. I can work across state lines, perhaps work with an enrolled agent or a CPA who's licensed in my state. But if you prefer to, sit down with somebody across the desk, shake their hand, look them in the eye, who is available in your area. So that's going to help kind of like limit your pool, and help you decide potentially on who to work with. Now, guys, as always, if you want more, help understand more concepts on how to fortify your financial foundation so you can be an unstoppable investor, make sure to check out my book, Money for Tomorrow, How to Build and Protect Generational Wealth. You can snag that on biggerpockets.com/money for tomorrow or on Amazon. And this is also your call to action. If you're ready to take the next step and start investing in passive real estate or add more passive investments to your portfolio, make sure to connect with me at passiveinvestingwithwhitney.com. There we can jump on a one-on-one call. You got free access to our masterclass and our boot camps and priority access to our multiple priority access to our open deals. Guys, if you're here live, don't go anywhere. We're about to start our Ask Me Anything session.